Don't care. Situation, year, doesn't matter. God, I hate losing to the New York Knicks. I hate it. Miami Heat fall in the Mecca tonight, 106-104, and an absolute heartbreaker. Got away from them. Looked like they were going to make that final run, that final push to get them there, and weren't able to do it. Just a couple of key moments got away from him. Tyler had a couple of good looks today, man. And he did really he turned around his night because he got off to a real piss poor first half. Came on in the second half, especially in that fourth quarter, hitting some monster threes for Miami. And man, he had a couple of pretty ones. He really did. He had a couple of pretty ones that looked good. One looked good to go get the tie. And then that would have put the Heat at 104 apiece. Instead, he ends up missing the three. He breaks up a terrible pass from RJ Barrett, gets the ball back, throws it to Max Strus, but nearly throws it in the stands. Strus then turns it over. All hell kind of breaks loose for Julius Randle to be right down the middle, yams it to put the Knicks up 5. So, it's looking like hell at this point. There's 5 seconds left. You think it's over. Strus comes, hits a 3. He had a big night from downtown, hit 5 ones from beyond the arc tonight. So the Heat are down 2. Then they check it in. They pass it in to Julius Randle. Call a foul on Bam. Spo challenges it because it doesn't look like Bam even touched him, and he didn't. It gets overturned, so the Heat get a chance to reset, and instead, Bam, they get to set themselves up for one last shot, down 2, and Caleb Martin or Gabe Vincent gets a good look, good screen to free up Tyler Hero. He gets a chance to shoot the 3. It's online, but it's short. And the Miami Heat lose by 2. An absolute crusher tonight. And what was supposed to be a fun day because you had Bam Adebayo being named to the All-Star game. And, man, he was awesome tonight. Just on both ends of the court, he really put the team on his back tonight when they really needed it. Because Jimmy, pretty non-existent tonight. A real dud from number 22, a rare one from Jim VP. And, he was coming into the game tonight. I was excited because he was looking fresh in his Miami Dolphins 1972 Letterman jacket. He was looking good and really just never got it going tonight in a big way for Miami, especially on the scoring end. He was 5 of 13. So, not even one of those nights where, he put it up the most. You had a good night tonight for the Kentucky connection with Bam and Tyler, especially Tyler getting it going late. And Tyler really, both of those shots at the end look good. The only complaint I can really have at that 2-second spot is Bam felt like he couldn't miss. Like, that's how good he was tonight. I was even like, dude, let's draw it up for the 3 for Bam. Let's get drunk with it. Let's get silly with it, with how reliable, how confident it looked. There was at points he was diving for loose balls. I just don't understand how anybody watches this guy play with the ferocity that he does, with the effort that he does, and isn't just in love with everything that he brings to the table. 32 points, 9 rebounds tonight, 1 steal to bring Miami to within 1 because he got fouled. Just a monster play. He's so good. And, Tyler did a great job there at the end. It was just, they weren't on point. I don't know what the hell that pass was to Max Strus. It was kind of a wild roller coaster for Tyler because, he plays a lot of minutes tonight. He plays 40 minutes tonight and, gets off to this really wonky start. But like he can put that kind of in the back of the memory bank. He hits a couple of big threes to bring Miami back into it. So, yeah, look, I trust going to Boy Wonder late. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the guy has won games for Miami this year. He certainly wasn't the problem tonight. Did get, beat on defense a few times by RJ Barrett, who was giving the Heat the business in the paint. It is the give and the take with Tyler, but certainly was given his end on the offensive side of things. It's just, a couple of shots really was the kick in the junk for Miami. But, what makes this one disappointing is a couple of things. One, there was no Jalen Brunson tonight. So, that's a bummer. You want to take advantage. He's one of the Knicks' best players. Really the engine that makes that thing go. And, Julius Randle got off to a really hot start. It was really RJ Barrett carrying it home. And you can say on the other end, the Heat didn't have Vic tonight. There was no Victor Oladipo, but certainly isn't having the season that Jalen Brunson is. And, Vic certainly adds those elements on the other end and definitely could have helped with some things on RJ tonight. But, tit for tat on that as far as the injuries were concerned. And I would say probably more plus side on the Knicks, minus side on the Knicks for not having their starting point guard. So it is a disappointing one, not getting that one. It's why you look back to a game like the Hornets and you're like, you hate giving up games like that. Cause it's MSG. It's a rivalry game. It's always heated. Even Spo was like tonight cause Dwayne Dedmon didn't play even with Orlando Robinson out. He goes Udonis Haslam and he was asked about it after the game and Spo goes, yeah, Heat Knicks. That's like, if you needed any other explanation for how done they are with Dwayne Dedmon, you could just go with Spo saying, "Oh, why'd you play UD tonight? Heat Knicks, baby, nostalgia. That's why." Which, by the way, UD still setting those mean screens. I mean, just taking those charges, getting the rebounds. Shot wasn't there tonight, but man, I love number 40. He's Teflon to me. Nary a word will be said about the legend. The all-timer, the standard bearer. I love you, Udonis Haslam. The big negative out of this one, you can't ignore it. You can't mince words with it. I don't know what the Heat are going to do with Kyle Lowry. I don't know I don't know if this ends with Kyle Lowry in a Heat uniform by the trade deadline. I don't know how many teams are actually interested in Kyle Lowry. But for the second game in a row, he gave you a big old goose egg in the first half of stats. No points, no assists, no rebounds. And he finished the day with one bucket. And you have to think about this. He is not playing in fourth quarters now. So when you give them nothing in the first half, you're giving yourself like a 7-minute stretch to give the Heat something. And he did hit one big three to give the Heat the lead at one point. That was his only basket tonight. At halftime, I think he was minus 31. He finished minus 17 tonight, which was the team low. But holy hell. I don't know, man. I don't know. You got this thing coming out with Kendrick Perkins where he's like, we're not seeing eye to eye he's not seeing eye to eye with the Miami Heat. And, I get it. Like, Kyle's going to come out here and he's going to be like, listen, he's been on the record and said that he wants to stay. He feels like this team has a real chance to win. But it really has felt like it's gotten to the point with him where it's like they are kind of starting him out of courtesy. That's what it feels like. And I don't think even a guy of his stature would want that. But that's what it feels like. It feels like you have Kyle Lowry out there because, you respect what he's done in the game. So he's going to start the first. He's going to start the third. Those have both gone pretty terrible the last couple of games where they've gotten off to really rough starts out of the shoot and then out of the half. And then somehow when he sits down, they seem to rally. It's hard to look at this and say it's not going towards a place where they're gonna make a change. I don't know if it's true that people really want to trade for him, especially without the Heat giving up an asset because he is owed $30 million next year. A lot of Clippers fodder out there. There's been Timberwolves fodder out there when it comes to Kyle Lowry. You know that he's close to Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler, it was interesting. He had this quote this week, and I know he was asked about specifically Bam and Tyler, but he had this quote about, we're going to win a championship, me, Bam, and Tyler, and we got to figure it out. And I think the Heat are figuring out that, like, I don't know if this guy, number 7, is giving us anything. I don't know if he is a plus for this team anymore. And he doesn't feel like he's a fit. He certainly doesn't look like he's got confidence in his shot. He certainly doesn't look like he knows when to take over games or get aggressive. He doesn't even really look like he has that great of chemistry on the court anymore with his teammates because he looks like he's second guessing everything. And, part of me can look at that and say, well, it's pretty clear that he is a savvy enough guy to know that the coaching staff is losing a little bit of trust in him. I'm sure that he is playing a little bit tight as well, knowing that those windows are getting a lot shorter. But that being said, he was brought here to be that final piece for Miami, and he's giving you next to nothing in these games, dude. He's like, he's hit some pretty clutch threes in the third quarter the last couple of games, but like that's literally it. It's wild. It's been wild to see the last couple of games giving you 0, 0, and 0 in the last two first halves. That's bananas to me. So I don't know, man. That's a wild one. That's definitely almost the biggest headline out of today's loss. Like, in the wins, you can mask it a little bit. When you lose a game and you lose games this tight, and you look and you're like, well, where was the problem? And you look back at your starting point guard, and you're just like, yeesh, what the hell, dude? Like, what do you do there? And part of Spo's answer has clearly been, well, don't play him in the fourth quarter anymore. But now you're starting to wonder, like, well, does he make an impact at any point? Like, when is or is he costing you at this point? That's the question they're gonna have to answer themselves before the trade deadline. But it's tough, man. Wasted performance by Bam. He was awesome tonight. Definitely needed more from Jim VP in this effort, and it was that close. Tyler had some good looks, but God, I hate losing to the Knicks.